Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the RuneQuest rules by Chaosium Incorporated. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. Strong language, mature scenes, and rune magics are on the way. As this is our Glorantha, we will remind listeners that it may vary from the one you already know and love. And now, on to the show. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways Podcast. I am your storyteller this evening, Michael Diamond. My pronouns are he, him, and we are back with another episode of 6 Seasons in Sartar, our RuneQuest Glorantha campaign. We want to welcome you back in, and thank you for listening. And if you're so inclined to support the show because you are loving what we're doing with our Glorantha, we'd invite you over to patreon.com/the Old Ways Podcast. We would also invite you to check us out on YouTube and subscribe and join over 1,000 subscribers there and see all the visual fun we're going to have in the future. And now we'll begin with cast introductions, which begin to my right.
Hi, everybody. I'm Heather, otherwise known as Valley Girl Heather. My pronouns are she, her, and I am playing Lysana of Cliffshield, the apprentice healer and midwife of the Haraborn and follower of the Blessed Earth Mother, Ernalda. And we are currently waiting and holding our breath, watching Vargas to do something brave and stupid.
You know, they say that there is a line between bravery and stupidity. We're going to find out tonight if Vargas crosses it. But first, till Lysana's right.
This is Morgan, and I play Alara of Hill-Based Stead. Our pronouns are she, her. Alara worships the great goddess of the earthquake, Marangor, and she has her own shadow cat now, named Arcat.
Fantastic. Of course, the cat, luckily, is outside, where it can't possibly be damaged by anything Vargas may or may not do. Speaking of, at the end of the table...
This is Jake playing Vargas, son of Gordanger, and I'm going to touch something, and it's probably going to go poorly.
It remains to be seen. But I'll tell you one thing, last but most certainly not least... someone is probably loving all of the new and unpredictable energy you seem to be filled with, Vargas.
Hi, this is James, and I'm playing Finn the Fisherman, and I like these ruins. They're neat.
Yeah, certainly. It's definitely a fun and interesting place, way different than those, frankly, compared to this place, basic longhouses, bunch of palisade wood buildings with thatched roofs. I mean, talk about boring. This place has got scrolled dragons and
yawning old men with beards. This is far more fascinating.
Far more. Okay, so we're going to part the veil tonight back in this temple. I think that's probably the best word for it. It seems to be set up as such. There's a sacred place in the center of this room where our Haraborn heroes had collected themselves or sort of enjoying the warm, steamy air.
I tried to enjoy it.
Right. You did. You tried your damnedest, but clearly watch was more important. That being said, though, Vargas has decided to reach out and grab this golden orb marked with the rune of the dragon newt. And you grab it. And you feel an amazing surge of energy rush through your fingers, up your forearm, to your shoulder, and it encompasses your entire torso for just the briefest of moments. What you all see is bolts of arcing blue energy come off this golden ball, and they churn around Vargas's fingers and up his forearm and then to his body, and then he is flattened on the ground, unconscious. the ball disappears. His body is smoking.
I rush over to Vargas and quickly begin to assess his injuries and seeing what's going on there. So first aid?
Sure, if you'd like to roll first aid.
I would like to, please. 19 out of 45.
Okay, 19 on 4 or 5 on first aid. So the ball in question, just so we're clear, has disappeared from his hand.
Oh.
He is no longer holding it. You no longer see it. None of you see it.
Uh-huh.
Vargas appears to be unconscious. You still feel in his chest and on areas of his body, you can feel his heartbeat and his blood is still pulsing. He is alive, but unconscious.
Okay, so I'm not seeing any wounds on either his hand, arms, anywhere where that kind of weird glow went. He seems perfectly fine physically, except that he's unconscious.
Correct.
I lift an eyelid. Are his eyes rolled back? Are they just kind of...
You lift an eyelid and you see, for a flash, just a moment, you see the Dragonute rune in his eye and it disappears.
Oh.
Are you left-handed or right-handed, Vargas? You're likely right-handed. Most people are.
Yeah, I'm right-handed.
You would have grabbed the orb with your right hand.
Yeah.
On the bottom of his right hand, there is the beginning of a triangle forming with that slash right through his lifeline, like right through his palm.
Oh, okay.
It forms with this sort of darkened color, ruddy brown, and it's beginning to form and stay present.
So is it like almost like the blood or something is welling up from underneath the skin? It's not like a welt?
Right. That's what it seems to be doing.
Okay. Guys, this isn't good. I think that whatever that was... Oh, no. No.
Sorry, that rune's going to be on his left hand.
On the left hand, okay.
Is it the beast rune?
No, it's the Dragonite rune.
Okay.
Same as you saw on the temple.
Right.
I think that did something to him. Something's in him. Oh, no.
Vargas, you wake up.
Oh,
Ah!
As soon as you wake up, you hear in your ear, I hear you. I see you.
Who? What?
Vargas. Hey.
Where'd that voice come from?
What voice?
The one was just speaking to me.
Oh, no. And I basically kind of grabbed the hand that has the rune in it.
Yeah.
And I basically kind of shove your hand into your face. So you like in front of your eyes, so you can actually maybe from this?
Oh. I messed up, didn't I?
No, you made yourself far more interesting, Vargas. And that's really what's important.
Finn, something got into him. This isn't exactly...
Jealous?
Oh, I give Finn a death stare hard for a second, and then I turn back to Vargas. Let me see if I can figure out maybe what happened. I am actually going to dig in, still holding his hand with his wrist with one of my hands. I dig my other hand hard into kind of the ground below. Let's see. I am going to cast Second Sight.
Are you now?
Yes, I am. Just hold still. And I kind of dig my hand in and I kind of close my eyes and I start pulling that magic from the earth with a lot more force, internal force, to try to like get the magic off.
Okay. You cast Second Sight. So give us a recap of Second Sight, if you would.
Second Sight, 3 points. This spell allows a person to view the POW aura of a living being and to gauge its relative strength. The auras of all creatures within the spell's range glow, visible to the caster only. If there are many creatures within range, it is difficult for the caster to determine the POW of each. I'm only focusing on Varghast. Like, just right there. The game master should tell the player whether the POW auras of the viewed creatures are much lower than the POW of the caster within 5 points or much higher than the user's POW. The POW auras of enchanted items are also visible, but again, I am focusing on Varghast.
Okay, so I can give you that. So what is Lysana's POW?
So Lysana's POW is 15.
Okay, so Varghast, what's your POW?
My POW is 14.
Okay, so you get a feeling of Varghast's relative spiritual power. He is very close to you as far as your intensity. But that isn't the interesting thing. The interesting thing is the thing hovering nearby. There is an aura nearby, stronger than yours, and it shimmers. You can see it, at least an outline of it. It looks like an enormous animal head that is hovering in space just above Varghast, maybe about 2 or 3 feet. But it is definitely watching him.
And the aura of that one is much stronger than either of us, I'm guessing.
It is stronger than either of you.
Varghast, you will see me looking like at you with your eyes at first, like just peering intensely. And then you will notice my eyes start to move off to one side and kind of focus somewhere else, like over your shoulder, still holding your hand by the wrist with the mark on it towards you. And you will feel my grip tighten as my eyes go wider as I look over your shoulder at something.
I quickly look back behind me. What do you see? What is it?
You see something come through. I guess the only way that I could really describe it is it comes through the spirit world. It traverses from where it is to seemingly to in front of you. It is a massive lion-like head, thick mane, vaguely human features. You see that the back end of its body, which ripples and coils, is a series of shifting colors, scaled, long, and takes up quite a bit of space here on the floor. And it stares at you.
Do you see it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Can I use Spirit Black against, or use Spirit Black on Varghast?
Yeah, give it to us.
Helps protects the recipient from attack by spirits. Each point of the spell acts as a spiritual armor and absorbs 2 points of magic point damage in spirit combat. So I don't think it, but since he's already imbued with whatever, it might not work. He hasn't attacked, right?
He has not.
Varghast has only touched the ball.
It has not attacked.
Okay. Yeah, then I would use Spirit Block on him then.
Oh, on Varghast?
Yeah.
1 point of rune magic?
Mm-hmm.
You drop it?
I do.
Tell me how you're going to send this energy to him. In what way will you transfer it?
Well, it's temporal, so I don't have to touch him to do it.
Right.
I would close my eyes, call upon Marangor, and ask her to help protect Varghast from the spirit, whatever it might be.
Okay. You call out to your goddess. She answers immediately. Steam rushes in from the four corners, and it covers, hot steam covers you, Vargast, and seems to congeal around you in this shifting and yet piping hot cage. Sort of cradles your torso. And the image of this creature, its features twitch for just a moment to regard what's happened. And it says,
"Tell your priestess I mean you no harm."
It says it doesn't mean me harm.
I'm not inclined to believe him or them.
Well, I believe that it's not going to matter what you I believe it's not going to matter what you believe. I don't think you have the power to do anything about that.
It coils up a little bit and gets closer.
Finn puts his hand on Alara's shoulder. I think it's okay.
"I am Shavasak, the rainbow worm."
Shavasak?
You hear a really long sigh.
"Your hortling tongue is untrained in the draconic way. We will remedy this. Shah, Vas, Hawk."
Shah, Vas, Hawk.
"Good. You have entered my temple. You have taken the orb. We will speak soon."
It evaporates.
It's gone now.
See, all is well. Finn, of course, saw none of this.
With my second sight, did I get any of that, or did I see him?
The visuals you get.
Okay, so I kind of see something moving.
Yeah, you
okay.
see them talk back and forth. You obviously heard Vargast's part, but you don't hear what the creature says.
Okay. She takes a minute while he's kind of doing it, and then she basically throws his hand into his face and stands up and steps back one step. "What the hell did you do? What was that? What was that? It was talking to you. Don't. What was that?"
The rainbow worm?
Yeah, that was a spirit, a very, very powerful spirit.
He says this is his temple.
Kate kind of got that impression. Points at all the dragons around. "What did it say to you?"
It says we'll speak soon.
That orb didn't just disappear. It disappeared into you. Look at your hand. It flashed in your eyes. You are probably now bound to it.
Well, we can unbind it, right?
Maybe, but at that level, with that amount of power, the power that I was sensing, it is going to take so much more than what we can probably do. Whatever problems we may have, oh man, this isn't good. This isn't good. She starts kind of pacing back and forth.
I mean, there's nothing else physically in here. Obviously, the altar, right? The statuaries that's around it, the bronze-clad door. Other than that, there's no other chambers. There's no other passages.
There's nothing we can do about it right now, right?
No, not that I can think of.
So why don't we go and finish warning the deer folk, and
oh shit, my uncle.
Yeah, we can deal with this later.
Yes. Yeah. If the Lunars were on our trail and they found us, they are probably headed there. We've got to make haste.
Well, I think we led them away from the trail, so hopefully that'll give us some time. But yeah, we need to go. We've done enough damage here.
Let's just be clear. You did enough damage, but that's okay. We'll talk later.
No, we were all here. We all shared the blame.
Alara starts laughing as she exits the cave. Oh, that's so nice. So nice.
Yep. Not ready to be a leader yet. And walks out.
You exit the cave and you see Arcat waiting. And when Vargas comes out of this, entrance, or not a cave, this massive entrance, you see Arcat sort of turn his nose up at Vargas when he gets close. Like he seems to be concerned or unaware or...
Vargas, if I didn't know better, I would say that cat was judging you.
Well, it's a cat. It's always judging somebody.
It loops itself sort of around your legs for a second, Alara, which is really dangerous given that the cat probably weighs about 130 pounds.
I pat him on the side. Don't listen to him. He's just angry he got laid flat on his back and it wasn't even fun.
The cat smirks and then moves on.
Regardless, let's go.
Continuing on to the well, the gorge is where Grothang's well is. There's a relatively narrow path that runs down the side of a canyon wall. It descends into it. At the bottom of this gorge, you can make out flashes of white from the water that rushes over the stones in the steam bed. This makes a lot of sense to you, Alara, as to where this hot spring is. This is probably another sort of not tributary, but another example of there's something under this mountain that's hot and moving, and it's what is keeping all this water bubbling. So you feel very comforted here. The well is a bowl-shaped pool. In the middle of the pool, there seems to be some sort of secondary pool. Perhaps there is a legend. Perhaps, yes. Ben, you may have heard of a legend that holds that the pool was formed by venom seeping from the sleeping dragon, Grothang's jaws. That's what must have made this second pool. The gorge itself sort of encloses the space like an amphitheater as well. And looking around, even in the limited light, you can see that there are signs of a recent encampment here. All these fires, though, have been extinguished.
Could they have moved on already?
Can I use tracking?
You certainly could.
To see where they might have gone. It looks like they already left camp. I'll kneel down at leftover footprints or in the dirt and not pass that roll with a 64 out of 45. Just playing in the dirt.
You play in the dirt for a little bit. At the bottom of this gorge, the water here is clean, albeit the temperature is a little bit different because of the hot springs. But it is an excellent place to refill water skins and, in general, get a drink. I'd like you all to make listen rolls.
Nope.
Okay. Alara?
Nope.
Vargas?
Nope.
Ben?
I got a 32 under 35.
Okay. While you're at the bottom of this gorge, for a split second, you think you hear something.
Finn just kind of a low hiss to get everyone to stop.
What?
He holds up a hand, 2 points to his ear, and he kind of crouches down so that maybe just in case someone is tracking us, it'll be at least a little harder for them to see us. But he tries to figure out where that sound came from.
You hunt the top of the gorge. You think it is the top of the gorge. And what you see defies your understanding. But it is less about what you see, and in this case, what Lysana feels and you experience visually. Without warning, you're grabbed. Hand around your stomach, and then arm bar around your neck. And for a moment, the split second, the sheer terror runs through you. And you hear a calm and even voice in your ear that says, "My niece, I could have killed you."
Uncle.
Quiet. You all remember the day you met the deer folk not too long ago. How they swept into the vale and along with them, excitement and concern in a dangerous cocktail. Varghast, a runner, comes speeding in to the inner ring, fast, lithe, and hurtling towards the main longhouse. You see him far before he actually gets to the house. Several of your father's warriors stop him before he can get physically into the house. But he nearly collapses onto the wooden palisade exterior around the longhouse. Breath ragged, skin flush red, and desperate to speak with Gordangar.
I move up closer to the boy.
The armed Orlanthe warriors help him back to his feet. Even if his knees cannot hold him up just yet, they hold him upright. You manage to find yourself pressed towards the front, and you can see that clearly he's dressed as a runner, very slim, of only a tunic. Really, even a simple rope belt is all he has. Good, sturdy shoes to get over the terrain here. He looks up with you, these eyes which are bloodshot from all of the constant running. I bring a message for the clan ringleader. Are you him?
No, I'm his son. Come with me.
They lead you and him inside. And your father and your Uncle Savan come out from the back of the longhouse with a concerned look on their face. Your father turns to you. What is the meaning of this? Who is this man?
This boy came in with a message for you.
Your father's voice echoes out throughout the longhouse like a punishing hammer blow. Speak. We'll have time to wait on these messages. The boy nods. The third wind is arriving. The deer folk, they've returned. Your father nods. Doesn't seem concerned. A simple nod. Your uncle looks a little more concerned. How long? The boy says, they'll make the Veil Pass within the next day. Your father turns to a waiting maid and says, bring him some water and rest. He's earned his keep for the night. They take him out of view into one of the guest rooms that your father has in the longhouse, and the many different people begin to see to him. The guards peel back and head back outside, and a deep storm brews between the brow of your father.
Okay, Keeper Mike,
yeah.
The deer folk.
Yeah, so for your benefit, for out of character benefit,
yeah.
The deer folk are, well, the best way to put it is they are rebels in the truest sense of the word. They are Orlanthe, not necessarily Haraborn, but they are Orlanthe, Sartarites to be sure, who have continued to cause trouble for the Lunar army. They sort of excel at that sort of thing. And them coming into the Veil is potentially good and potentially bad. You immediately would remember heading back towards the marriage ceremony when there were whispers that your father was supporting the rebels.
What are you going to do, Father?
Do? I will await them. We'll see what is it they want. Many times all they ask for is simple food and shelter. There is enough, I believe, in our stores to help them. And if given the opportunity, that is what I will do.
I nod. Step back.
When they arrive, keep your ear close. You may learn a few things.
Yes, Father.
So for your benefit too, Jake, the deer folk are named after Hort's people. And they are rumored to fight from within encampments and small little groups throughout the entirety of the Vale and beyond in Sartar. They have been engaging for some time in guerrilla warfare against the Lunar Empire. Rumors would say that they've set fire to barracks and granaries. They have ambushed caravans. They assassinated a lunar official in Johnstown, then dragged his body behind a panicked horse through the streets. No one believes that they act alone. It's fairly widely believed, as far as you'd be aware, that they follow Kalir of Khaldun, the rebel Starbrow, that she leads them. There are some amongst her believers who believe that she is the Argath. She is the, for lack of a better term, Messiah for the Sartarite people. And that she will light the flame of Sartar again. Because as you might remember, the flame of Sartar was extinguished, which is sort of how the beginning of the bad times for your people began. Although she is not widely accepted as this, right? It is not necessarily believed that in totality that she is this. But some people think that. So word reaches you, Lysana, of a rather auspicious and yet somehow exciting, perhaps anxious word reaches you. It's a bundle of emotions all at once. There is word that your uncle is returning to the Vale. So Horlamath Shieldbreaker was present at many battles and did your family proud. And rumor has it that when many of the battles of the Lunars went the Lunar way, he had managed to not only become someone of, well, some reputation, but also had a reputation of surviving many of these fights. You have not seen him in maybe 4 seasons. It's been a long time. But you get word that a group of armed Sartarites are coming into the Vale on horseback. And you don't even hear his name. You don't hear Shieldbreaker. What you hear is that from one of the women, one of the unmarried women of your stead say that the most attractive man she's ever seen is coming, which sort of tips it off to you.
That's probably my uncle.
Yeah, very attractive, mostly brown hair, but is known to have these sort of auburn and red tones to both his hair and his beard. And they say that he walks with the fire of the gods. This is not true, at least last you knew. But yes, if this is who you think it is, it's a time for excitement amongst your family because you have not seen your uncle, and it's wonderful to hear that he's alive. But that news begins to filter out. The same thing happens at your stead, Finn and Alara. You begin to hear that there's armed men coming up the Vale, which is very rare. So remember, it's a mountainous territory. For armed men to come up on horseback is sort of a rare thing.
Well, those kind of things breed excitement unto themselves.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I grab my bow and arrows and rush outside.
You gonna shoot somebody?
I'm like, going wet? No. And I run over to Finn's abode.
He's probably helping his father with the morning glazing and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be with you in a second, Laura.
No, Finn, didn't you hear?
What?
There's armed men on horseback coming.
And now Finn is done helping his father.
You can tell the look on your father's face as soon as Alara bursts in and he hears what she says. He just looks at you like, have a good time.
I will have a fantastic time, and I will be extremely careful to make sure that Alara is safe.
Yeah. Well, Alara, if you would keep my son safe.
Yes, Father. And I smirk at Finn as I walk out the door.
Finn grabs his hat and his sling, and they scoot.
You scoot. So this procession, which is the best way I could say, begins to come up the vale through all of these steads. So Cliff Shield is the first that they'll pass through. So they will actually pass by Lysana first before they get to Hill Base.
So when I get word of this, first I'll see if my mom is busy. She probably is off doing her thing. So I will take on starting to gather up what I can, cleaning everything up, trying to gather for food and drink, probably try to see if I can get a few folks in the Vale, in our in and around home to help, since I'm sure word will be like they're coming up the road and they're coming this direction and everything else. So I will see what I can. I will send a messenger out to try to find out time and distance. How long do I have to to take care of all this, and send another, probably one of the children, send them off to go find my mother, who's probably helping birth babies somewhere nearby, to let her know that he's coming and that I'm on it. See, I'm a responsible adult. I'm not the adultier adult, but I'm an adult-ish. So I am taking care of things and preparing the way for my uncle.
Yeah, so a couple things on that. You'd probably be preparing some of your own food stores to hand off to them. It's likely that your mother and probably some of the other families within the longhouse you live, that you lead your lives from, probably support them in some ways. They're fellow Sartarites. They're out fighting Lunars. And that means they're going to need help. And so she probably has a sort of traditional package that she would put together to hand to some of the riders as they pass by, thus to ease any requirements that Gordangar or any of the inner ring might have to do. I will make one sort of small note here about your commentary when it comes to your mother helping birth. You would have been fairly well aware over the past season or so from Fire to Earth, there is a marked drop in births happening. Your mother has not been as busy as she normally would be.
At least with the midwifery part
Correct.
Of things. Have I also noticed, has she been busier with end of life things? I'm trying to see where the balance has shifted, because if there are lower birth rates, it has the death rate risen. Are there other areas?
I don't think the death rate's risen as much.
Okay.
But the birth rate, not only among the cattle and the sheep, etc., has not been where it normally is. Haraborn are not reproducing as much as they have in past years.
Have the harvests of the last few years been down? Sometimes
No.
Okay. So that really, it just something seems to be seemingly off balance,
right.
A bit. Okay.
Like Janira's birth of twins was like the pinnacle moment.
Right.
And everything else has been sort of like blips along the way. Yes, some births have happened, but to give an example, where there might be 20 births in any given year, just as a rough estimate, there have been 7, 2 of which are held by Janira.
And nothing else that would normally, a normal organic drop would have occurred. So this is definitely like the balance of life has shifted somehow.
Right.
Okay.
So at the front of this procession, you would see a stunning woman. She's wearing a long, flowing red cloak, which seems a little strange given the color. It is a dark red cloak. She is painted in blue symbols and runes on her otherwise tanned body. She carries at her side not only the traditional spear, but a traditional Sartarite sword. And then attached to the back of the horse is a place for her bow and quiver. She's something to behold just in herself. Her hair is blood red. It's shaved up one side of her skull, and there are intricate, like, blue runes that are not tattooed, but sort of form a side of her face. So you clearly see air and motion and earth. And this troop begins to pass by your stead. It does not pass by quietly, because your uncle, Carlomath Shieldbreaker, is right behind her. And he is singing at like the top of his lungs.
I would have heard him then before I would have seen him.
Yeah, for sure.
And that would have been like very exciting and like, oh, gotta finish.
The songs he is choosing to sing are not meant for children, that is for certain. But he doesn't seem to care. He is as handsome as you can possibly remember. And he has this, these ever boyish good looks. His brown hair is fire-kissed with natural red and gold highlights. And all sorts of the ladies of your stead stop working when he is going by.
So after the only pause I probably would have as I wait, three things go through my mind. One is I am finally old enough. My mother will not chase me away when he is singing his songs.
Yeah, probably.
I am finally of age and therefore will be allowed to stick around in the later hours when normally the children are shooed away and the adults are allowed to have their time.
Sure.
Which is very exciting for me at this point. The second is that I'm trying to finish up and that he is alive, not only alive, but seemingly in excellent health and in this company is definitely a means of celebration, and especially around this harvest time. And third, she is gorgeous. And that is probably the only thing that will take my attention away is by like, wow. Hello. Loins are tingly.
The woman at the front of the troop is something to behold. You're not sure what mold made her, but
they probably broke it because
she broke it. The line continues. Your uncle waves towards you on the way, just sort of offhandedly. Big grin. I'd
like to close distance to him at least and come up and walk along, touch his leg and walk alongside him.
Yeah, he grabs your hand.
It's so good to see you.
It's wonderful to see you. Look at the woman you've become. Careful, lads. No touching.
Oh, do not do that to me. I am of age now, so now I can be a part of the stories. We have so much to catch up on. And especially you had to tell me about, and I just kind of indicate, like.
Gorvara will tell her own tales. Let no man stand in her way. Her horse snorts like ahead of you.
And I kind of lean a little bit closer as we're walking along, as well as you can when you're walking alongside the horse.
Mm-hmm.
Does she follow Vinga?
Yes.
I must know more. I've heard stories. This time I'll be able to actually hear them properly, I think.
We must make for the inner ring and make sure that Gordangar has seen us properly. But afterwards, I will do what I can to stop back.
I have told Mother we are prepared for you. Please, do not take too long, and I hope the news is not dire.
He squeezes your hand like hard.
We will see you later. You will tell us then, yes?
We'll speak.
It is so good to see you, Uncle.
He smiles. It is good to see you.
All right, we'll finish preparing. I will see you tonight.
You dash back. So this procession continues forward, and then suddenly, Finn, you are beset upon by a wonder you have never seen before, and that is a woman who is mostly very bright blue and very deep red. She looks like a Technicolor dream.
I like her style. I see Finn leans back against the wall and is watching this procession, wrapped fascination.
Yeah, there's 12 of them. So for lack of a better explanation, I'll just give this one. They are fully armored and armed. It is probably the first time in your life you have seen like a series of traditional real military troops look like. So there's wonder and there's interest, but there's probably an underlying sense of foreboding a little bit.
It's a little bit of trepidation there as well.
Yeah, it would be like, I guess the best way to put it would be for like you to be standing out in your front yard, and then all of a sudden there be 12 United States Marines walking down your block. Like, oh, that's interesting. Like, yeah, same side, no, but like, why are they armored? Why are they fully armed?
It raises as many questions as it does wonder.
Yes. They pass by. You get the same sort of look, Alara. Many of the troops that pass by, obviously, they do their best to sort of keep their greetings to a minimum. No one calls out from the line at all, but they're not unpleasant. They're just sort of purposely making their way. They're not stopping to see anybody.
Yeah, I watched them in appreciation.
Yeah, the lead rider wears this crimson cloak. It doesn't fit the same sort of Orlanthe warrior picture that you're used to seeing. This is definitely someone that you're not like familiar with their style or their runes or the blue coloring. The shaved head and like blood red hair is a little punk, to be honest. Like it's got that vibe to it.
I appreciate that style, especially the red.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, that red feels real at home with you. Oh, they pass by. And they eventually arrive where you are, Varghast. And the inner ring is all aflutter when 12 Sartarite troops show up. Even the boys out front get a little itchy. They're not used to live troops, but they seemingly don't, nobody's cowering in fear by any means. Your father walks out of the longhouse and approaches this woman with blue runes all over her body, bathed in a red cloak, and offers her a powerful handshake like he would do any warrior of the Haraborn. And they shake hands. There's no like hug. There's nothing like that. It's a little strange because you're not used to your father like approaching women as if they were marshals, but that's what he does to her. He greets her and welcomes her into the longhouse, along with her right hand, which is another warrior with brown and red streaks through his hair. You're not prettier than this man. I'll just put it like that. They step in, and your father, Savan, and someone that you hadn't seen for a little while, your father's, Blue Eye is here. You don't know where he came from, but he's here. After the door shuts, they begin pouring tankards for the troops.
Yeah, I'll kind of mingle among the troops.
These are soldiers.
Yep. See if I can hear what maybe they know what's going on. Maybe they know, rumors and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You hear a little bit of the talk from inside, just inside the doorway. You hear, Lunar's wasted no time. As soon as the pass is open, they were pouring into Hortland. You hear your father say, "Do you think the Veloxi can hold out against them?" That strong, feminine voice comes back. "Well, Broyan is king, and he bears the sword and helm of Vingot." And Savan says, "And if they fall?" You hear another male voice say, "If they fall, it is over. Look at bloody Shippleskirt. She's grown bloated and swollen year by year, and the winds grow calm. The rains this last year have been mildest we've ever seen. If Whitewall falls, I feel Orlanth is as fall as well. We will all be the red bitch's chattel. It gets a little quiet in there. Your father's voice asks, are you still encamped at Gorgon's Well? The woman replies, till the end of the season. Then we must move on to avoid scouts. The Lunars have started employing these traitorous. And the rest of her words get gobbled up by a horse kicking and neighing one of the soldiers' horses. You lose the rest of the speech. They calm the horse eventually, but it does take a couple of soldiers to get it in line. Afterwards, your father steps out and lets the associated warriors and soldiers outside the door know that there'll be a meal prepared tonight. They seem appreciative. For you, Finn, a man you saw earlier, Koromath Shieldbreaker, whom you know is one of Lysana's relatives and a member of the Deerfolk, materializes out of the stone and grabs her. Not violently, but clearly to make a point. And that's when you start seeing other members of this Deerfolk begin to appear.
Finn, knowing that the people are there, Finn looks at Varghast and whispers, I don't think we have to keep looking for them.
You think?
At the top of the gorge, Gorvara Redcloak appears. Beautiful crimson red cloak, painted blue. And she calls down to the gorge and says, bring them up. Her voice is loud enough for you to hear, but not loud enough to echo, which must be a trick all its own. They escort you back up the gorge. Your uncle walks with you. And as you walk up this pathway, he says, what brought you out here?
First, when he finally starts to release me, I will flip around very quickly and grab him in a big hug. It is so good to see you alive.
Playing in these places is not easy.
And then as we walk, we'll talk. No, we were sent to find you, all of you, and warn you. We got sidetracked as I kind of glance daggers over at Varghast for a quick second. It's a tale. Oh, Uncle.
The Lunars know you're here.
They've been out scouting for you.
They came to my father's steading and demanded that we give him information about you. We told him to kick rocks, but they will find you.
They threatened some of those who were with them, and some of our people, if we did not give you up your location, any knowledge that we had.
About an hour ago, we managed to ambush a Lunar Scout party. We got some answers about what happened in the Vale. Gorvara regards the group of you. I'm fairly impressed you made it this far, at least without being caught or captured.
Nope, none of us was caught or captured. He throws kind of a wry side smile and glance at Varghast, and then just goes back to cleaning his fingernails with a stick.
The eyes roll really hard in my head.
Well, we have a hard march intended, but I don't think that scouting party will cause you any problems on your way back. Hearing that just one party is here means that there are likely 2 or perhaps 3. The trouble in the Vale is not going to end. We're happy to escort you some of the way back.
Can't we stay to help?
You get a sort of a wry smile from Gorvara. Carlmath, Lysana's uncle, gives a haughty laugh. Ha! I love it. Corvara approaches you a little closer, Alara, and says, I'm certain that your talents would be useful, but my concern is who will help protect the Veil? Your families are farmers, fishermen, clay workers, not warriors. Cannot abandon the Veil.
Laura's having a hard time thinking with her so close. Just wants to reach out.
She gets a little closer. She has a presence, an odor almost. It's not bad. It's very opposite that.
I feel like she would smell like the woods after a morning rain.
To you, Laura, she smells like a campfire.
Oh, which is even better.
Like a really hot campfire.
Yeah, you make a good point.
Mm-hmm. I saw what happened in my own village when warriors went off on a quest to deal with Lunars, and then they were killed, which left my village defenseless. And so I was subjected to the whims of the troops who captured us. I do not wish the same fate for your family or any of the stead. Our presence in this place has drawn too many eyes. We will need to move soon. We have the supplies we need, but we are missing something.
We can get it. Alara's at the point she wants to please her.
It is difficult. We are in search of something. That is why we're here in the Vale. Kellier believes it is here. These scrolls and legends that she has inquired about believe that there is something particular here.
Well, if it's a dragon temple, we could probably help you. If it's anything else, we probably can't.
Your uncle grabs your forearm.
Ow!
These are not trifle matters. Did you find a temple or not?
We did.
Yeah, just a bit down the way. Actually, Vargas could probably take you there in his sleep.
Yes, he probably could.
I'll slowly hold up my left hand.
This is a good sign. My men and I are searching for this temple of the Second Age, the eye that closes and opens. It's believed to be somewhere here on the slopes of Cragradius. You say you found it. Is this where this image is from?
Finn is having a very hard time stifling a chuckle as he's leaning against a nearby tree. Just a low ironic.
Yeah, there was something inside.
And?
It's not there anymore.
Wait, where is it now?
Oh, for the gods' sake. There was a golden orb and Vargas decided to play the fool and touched it and held it. It disappeared. And then the dragon spirit, whatever it was called, which I'm sure Vargas can tell you, appeared and told him they would talk later. And that is when the rune showed up within his being. So what have we stumbled into, Uncle? Because it looks like we're part of this now.
The Age of Legends is returning. That is what you may have stumbled into. Fair Kellier needs this sphere. Simply produce it for us.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's gone.
What?
Yeah, after it knocked me on my ass, it disappeared.
That is most strange. It must have imparted some wisdom to you. It must have said something.
Oh, yeah, it did.
It absolutely left its mark on him.
In more ways than one.
You know, it called itself the Rainbow Serpent, or Rainbow Worm, and then it said that we will talk later.
Later? When is later?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
After now.
It pretty much, I think, gets to decide when and where it talks to me.
You see the very methodical look Carvara is giving you. Very well. Very well. She'll walk you back. As close as we can get. Perhaps this orb will return.
Let us all hope.
Colormath hoists his pack, and he pats you on the shoulder, Vargast. Yes, yes. Let us hope. For your sake.
Yes.
I think I'm sure they'll just have to dig it out of you, Vargast.
That's not funny.
I wasn't joking.
Colormath laughs, but his leader, Gavara, does not. We have been sent on a quest to find and collect the orb for Kalair. She will have the orb. You've never seen someone look that serious before. Unfortunately, Alara, for you, this is just too hot, and you need a moment.
Yeah, Yes, let's go back. Turns around and goes and stands by Finn.
You look flushed, Alara. Are you okay? He fans Alara almost sarcastically with the brim of his hat. Here, let me help cool you down.
She smacks him in the shoulder. Knock it off.
I'll go up to her. Anything I can do to help. And I would be more than happy to utilize my skills in.
Gavara looks you up and down. And Nishida Arnalda,
Yes.
perhaps you can coax something out of the big man there.
And with that, her face kind of falls a little bit into like this kind of scowl. And yeah, he doesn't seem well moved by anything.
I don't know. I think you could probably make a compelling case.
I've tried multiple times. Last night as we forded the river and unfortunately didn't quite make it across. There I was, as Arnalda had formed me from the dust and the blood and in all of the best possible moments. And he started to snore.
Oh. Well, that is simple. Not hard to fix. His face would make a lovely throne. She continues walking.
Finn barks once with laughter that he cannot conceal.
She tries to speak, and Lasana just turns beet red and just okay. And just kind of walks back over to her uncle, who I'm sure has a shit-eating grin on his face.
The beard covers some of it.
Not all.
The little flecks of red in his quite handsome beard. He has a we'll just say an alehouse grin on his face. She doesn't usually joke with people like that. It's good to see that side of her.
She wasn't joking. Finn walks by.
He starts laughing again. So the trip back to the Vale is an interesting one. They take you back through a place that they caught the Lunars and ambushed them. You see that they very carefully made sure that the bodies would be placed correctly, especially for local wildlife, because animals got to eat too. There were 4 of them, and one of them was definitely tracking your movements. And so they give you full marks after a fashion when it comes to the way that you managed to get out from under them. The trip back, though, is also filled with a little trepidation. You are with essentially armed rebels who are probably on some lunar governor or deputy governor's list now. and probably have been for quite some time. And there's a certain air of casualness that they take when it comes to that. And in many ways, the back and forth with some of this third wind group, as they are called, some of them have already accepted the fact that they're likely to die in service to Sartar. And that they've made peace with that. And that peace has given them freedom of mental movement, which is an amazing thing. Before they part ways with you, Gorvana, Korlamath, some of the others, they embrace you as honorary rebels in that sense. They tell you that if they are in the area and you have need of them, you have but to call. And for alerting the third wind, you're all going to get a bonus. So you may all add 3 points of reputation for alerting the third wind that the Lunars were looking for them, even though they dealt with them. And since Jake and some of the other players here at the table were, we'll just say, forward enough to reveal that you somehow had laid claim to the orb, you will also get a reputation boost of 3 points. Very good.
Does everybody take that additional, or is it just Jake and...
No, it's everybody. The way it works is, because Jake's character was willing to take the orb, everyone gets the benefits of the action. So those extra 3 points of reputation you can thank Varghast for after, spending a couple of episodes shitting on him.
He still touched it. You still touched it.
You are escorted within an hour or two of the Vale. After that, the third wind does make their own way. Any parting messages, any of you?
I give my uncle a couple of very big, tight hugs, because I wasn't sure I was going to see him alive again, and I don't know if I will again.
Fair enough.
And I ask him if he has any messages for Mother or anyone.
Yes. Tell Mother that I still live and that I love her. And I will fight like hell every day to see her again.
You better come back. You better come back.
If I can, I will.
If not, send us a sign through the earth that you are within Arnalda's bosom, cradled and held tight.
I should do my best, but if it comes out as a fart, you understand why.
I would expect nothing less than it to come out to put a smile on our face. That's how I think we will know it was you, but...
I go where Gorvana asks of me, and she follows Collier.
Well, our family has served them honorably, and I know you will continue that line.
Korlamath stops over to you, Varghast, and he sort of pats you on the chest, and he says, "We'll be back."
And I'll be here.
Good. The third wind goes east. And they move out fairly quickly. Getting back to the Vale doesn't take terribly long. But it does afford our troop here a little interaction time if that's what they wish. Perhaps to discuss something, anything, which might be on their minds.
I link arms with Finn and drag us to catch up with Varghast and Lysana. And Varghast, what are we going to do about the... Then I hold up my hand and touch where the rune on his hand would be.
Maybe you should talk to my uncle. He might be able to help.
Alara, I think the term you're looking for is curse.
Well, with the gods, it's always difficult to tell the way the wind will blow.
I'm going to look at it as a gift.
a gift, a curse, two sides of the same coin. It all depends on the way it falls. But if this rainbow worm speaks to you, please don't keep it to yourself. Got us in this far.
Unless he tells me to.
If you grow a tail, please do keep it to yourself.
Yes, because Finn would be jealous.
I could do things with a tail.
You return to the Vale, walking through some of the upper steads, crossing the river at a safe spot with the assistance of your fisherman Finn, and eventually getting back to the inner ring and Hill Base and Cliff Shield. But I wonder, Varghast, if you might want to report into your father before breaking company.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good idea.
Okay. Obviously, you can easily get the audience with your father. You just walk into your longhouse.
Father?
Oh, you're back. Good. Did you deliver the message?
We did.
Good.
There is something else that I need to tell you.
What is it?
We found a temple in the mountains, and I touched something inside, and now I have the spirit companion.
Oh. He sort of puts his hand over his face. I was worried that she'd finally slapped you, but very well. Let us see it. Sivan. He calls out, and you see your uncle come from the back room, likely his bedroom. Your uncle comes over. He's curious, if not a bit concerned. What is it?
Is he asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, I have this now. Oh, and I hold up my hand.
Sivan takes your left hand. Marked by dragon newt. Where did this come from?
Temple in the mountain.
Temple? What temple?
The one in the mountain.
Yeah, the spirit called himself the rainbow worm.
Mm-hmm. The rainbow worm. Sivan says, I've heard of this. An ancient legend. Shavasak.
Yeah, that was its name.
Varghast, you hear something behind you growl, but not behind you, more like around you.
Oh no. It's here.
Your uncle's eyes electrify. Tiny little bolts of lightning. Yes, I see it. Your father looks aghast. How did this happen?
So I might have touched a golden orb that was in the temple.
I told him not to. And
you lie.
Then, to be fair, I told him to.
Oh, there is a lesson in this, then, Sivan says. The Empire of Worm Friends is something that the Haraborn in tradition strayed from. We strayed from any contact with draconic types. But this creature has chosen to reveal itself to you. I do not know if that is good or bad. Your father sort of takes your hand and curls your fingers up to cover the dragon newt symbol. Runes are symbols of powerful ideas. This symbol is not one our family or our people would carry, but perhaps this is a new age, and we may need new thinking. Thank you for delivering the message. He looks at the rest of you. Gordangar, the chieftain, looks at the rest of you. We shall need your strength in the days to come. What of the hunt itself, the Lunars that were reported out?
They took care of at least one group. They believe there are probably others scouring the area, and we should be wary, or at least on the lookout for others passing through, and be aware that at least one group no longer plagues our people, which may or may not be a hindrance later down the road.
Savan says, this is not a good tiding either, though. Scouting parties will eventually, well, those that are missing, will eventually be accounted for. The Lunars may send more troops in response. Your father holds up his hand. One worry at a time, brother. One at a time. Well, return to your steads. We will learn more about this presence now in the Vale as the days to come. We will draw together the inner ring and discuss it.
As you say.
For now, I invite you all to some mead. I have something special to share with you. Vargas, your father goes into one of the rooms here in the longhouse and produces a couple bottles of something. An intriguing and, well, noteworthy brew. And that is something from a place called Clearwine. And he pours out 4 glasses for all of you to enjoy. As a congratulations, thank you for all your work.
It was our honor, Father.
May it bolster you in the future. It is phenomenal. Just an absolute unique drink. A little stronger than you were expecting, but the single glass is enough to warm your entire body. As fall has come and the Vale temperatures are beginning to drop. And with that drink and toast, I will call our episode to a close. Thank you for joining us for another episode of 6 Seasons in Sartar, our RuneQuest campaign on the Old Ways podcast. We wish you a fair evening and hopefully a good drink. Thank you and good night.